Some of the biggest tech platforms we use every single day, they weren't born from some genius grand vision. Nope, they were actually born from epic failures. They're like these accidental empires, built right on top of the ashes of a totally different idea. And honestly, there's no better example of this than Discord.
So how on earth did a failed video game end up becoming the internet's go-to town square? I mean, this story is way more than just a simple business pivot. It's a masterclass in survival. It's all about a failure that was so close to catastrophic, but instead it somehow created one of the most powerful communication tools of our generation. All because they found a billion-dollar idea that was hiding in plain sight the whole time.
All right, so let's rewind. Our story doesn't start with a chat app at all. It starts with a game studio called Hammer and Chisel. It was founded by this guy, Jason Citron, and he was already a big deal in the gaming world. He'd sold his first company, Open Faint, for over $100 million. So he had the cash, he had the reputation, and he had this huge ambition to build the next great mobile game. And this quote here from the co-founder and CTO Stanislaw Wisniewski, man, it just perfectly sums up the crisis they were in. Their vision, this thing they poured their hearts into, it was failing hard. And that failure, it forced them into this moment of just brutal honesty that changed absolutely everything. They had to look in the mirror and admit that the thing they loved making just wasn't what people actually wanted to buy. And the pivot, when it happened, it was lightning fast. So in 2014, they launched this game, Fates Forever. It was a MOBA, an online battle arena game for the iPad. And it was beautiful. It got great reviews. But here's the thing, great reviews don't pay the bills. The game just never found an audience. So by 2015, they had to make this absolutely gut-wrenching decision. Kill the game, let go of some of their team, and bet the entire future of the company on one single feature, the voice chat system they had built for the game. And just a few months after that, Discord was born. So why did it take off? Well, it's simple, really. The founders were gamers themselves, and they built the exact thing they wanted to use. I mean, think about the old tools back then, like Skype and TeamSpeak. They were a total nightmare. You often had to pay for servers, they were super clunky, they slowed your games down to a crawl, and the worst part? They exposed your IP address, which basically put a giant target on your back for hackers. Discord just came in and fixed all of it right from day one. It was free, it was secure, it was light on resources, and you could create a server with a single click. For gamers, this wasn't just an improvement, it was a total game changer. But the story doesn't just end with gaming. Not even close. Something way bigger was happening under the surface. Without even realizing it, Discord was building the digital version of a town square, a concept that sociologists actually have a very specific name for. And that name is the third place. It's a really cool idea. So think of it like this. Your home, that's your first place. Your job or school, that's your second place. But the third place, that's where you go just to be. To hang out, build a community, have those casual conversations that make you feel like you belong. For decades, that was a cafe, a park, maybe a local bar. But in the digital age, for millions and millions of people, that third place became Discord. Okay, so how did they pull this off? It wasn't just luck. It was baked right into the design. See, on Discord, you choose to join servers based on what you're into. And your real-world status? It doesn't matter nearly as much as just having a good conversation. It's so different from a social media feed where everyone is kind of performing for an audience. Discord is just about talking, right now, in real time. And because those servers are always on, they develop their own culture, their own inside jokes, a real sense of community. It's a huge shift from just scrolling a feed to actually being in a space. All right, but the big question is, how does a free town square actually make any money? Well, this is what makes Discord so different. Unlike pretty much every other social platform out there, their business model isn't about sucking up your data and selling ads. Nope. The huge majority of their cash comes from users who choose to pay for their subscription, called Nitro. It gives you fun cosmetic perks like custom emojis and better streaming. Or they pay to boost their favorite servers. It's a business model built entirely on goodwill, people supporting a product they genuinely love. But, and this is a really big but, this is where the story takes a much darker turn. Because the very things that make Discord such a great third place, the fact that it's decentralized, run by users, and kind of private, well, those same things make it a perfect hiding place for some of the absolute worst parts of the internet. And right there, that's the central conflict, the paradox at the very heart of Discord. Its greatest strength is also its most dangerous weakness.
It really makes you wonder, right? Is it even possible to build a truly free and open space online without it eventually being taken over by people who want to do harm?
To really get a grip on the scale of this problem, you just have to look at the growth. The pandemic hit and Discord's user base just exploded. It went from being a pretty big platform to a global phenomenon, practically overnight. And yeah, more users meant more communities, which is great, but it also meant more dark corners for things to go wrong. The moderation challenge was suddenly scaling up faster than they could possibly handle. And this number right here, this is the canary in the coal mine for Discord's whole business model. Think about it. While the number of users was going through the roof, the money they made from their main subscription, Nitro, just flatlined. It stopped growing. What that tells you is that there's a limit to how many people are willing to pay for cosmetic perks. Even though they added tens of millions of new users, they weren't really adding new paying customers. For a company that isn't profitable yet, that is a massive red flag. And this brings us right back to that central paradox we were talking about. The freedom and the user control that makes Discord feel so special is the exact same thing that makes it a complete nightmare to keep safe. The company basically has to rely on an army of unpaid volunteers to moderate millions of different servers. And let's be honest, that's a task that most of them just aren't equipped to handle. And the consequences of this, they've been incredibly severe. I mean, just look at this list of scandals that have hit the platform. It was used to plan violent extremist rallies like Charlottesville. It's been identified as a hub for radicalizing young people. Horrifyingly, it's been used by predators to target and abuse kids. And then, it even became a national security threat when a user leaked hundreds of classified Pentagon documents. This is so much more than just a PR problem. It's an existential threat to the entire platform's safety and trustworthiness. Okay, so you've got a business model that's stalling out and a safety crisis that just won't go away. How does Discord possibly survive its own success? Well, the answer might require another radical transformation, a pivot just as dramatic as the one that created the company to begin with. The core vulnerability, the biggest problem they have right now, is something you could call the great creator value leak. Here's what that means. Right now, millions of creators are building these amazing, vibrant communities on Discord. They're pouring hours and hours into engaging with their fans. But the second they need to actually make money, sell a membership, a course, a digital product, they have to send everyone off of Discord to another website. It's like Discord is hosting the party, but someone else is at the door collecting all the money. And for any serious creator, this workflow is just a mess. It's so fragmented and frustrating. They're trying to run a business by taping together a bunch of different services. Their community is happening on Discord, but then they have to manage memberships on Patreon, sell products on Gumroad, host courses on Teachable. It's a huge pain for the creator, and it's confusing for their audience. This whole situation is the single biggest opportunity that Discord is just letting slip through its fingers. Which brings us to the big idea, the core thesis for Discord's future. They have to evolve. They have to stop being just a generic chat app and become the definitive platform for creators to run their entire business. They need to become a true creator operating system. So what does that actually look like? Well, imagine a studio, a central command center for creators to manage their entire business. Imagine native payments built right in, so you can sell a subscription or a product with just one click, right there in Discord. Imagine content hubs, which are like special channels designed for organized courses and content, not just a chaotic stream of chat. And finally, imagine a marketplace, an actual discovery engine so you can find and join all these incredible paid communities. This shift in strategy would be absolutely massive. Discord would go from being a simple chat tool to a complete business in a box for creators. And their business model? It would change from relying on optional tips like Nitro to taking a small, reliable cut of the billions of dollars in transactions happening on their platform. And maybe the most important part, creator loyalty would go through the roof. Once your entire business is built inside Discord, you're not going anywhere. That's how you build a powerful, unbeatable competitive moat. So this all leads us to one final massive question. Discord is standing at a crossroads. It can keep going down the same path as this beloved but financially shaky platform that's always fighting its own demons. Or it can make another bold pivot and become the absolute central engine of the entire creator economy. The question is, will creators actually rebuild their businesses inside Discord, or will it just remain a place to talk? The choice they make won't just decide their future, it could decide the future of online community as we know it.